Right. The GOP's ugly war on women took an appalling turn today. In a shocking decision, the leading breast cancer charity group, the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, will stop funding Planned Parenthood for breast cancer exams and other breast health services. The charity refuses to fund any organization under government investigation. Who's investigating Planned Parenthood? Florida Republican Congressman Cliff Stearns. He says he wants to find out if Planned Parenthood uses public money to fund abortions for that purpose. Komen pulled its funds. You are now seeing exactly how dangerous the GOP war on women is. Politics is now putting people's lives at risk. In the last year, we've seen an unprecedented attack on women's reproductive rights and reproductive health. The Republican-controlled House passed laws to allow hospitals to turn away women seeking abortions, even in life-threatening situations. Passed laws to redefine rape to limit abortion funding, and passed laws to block federal funding to Planned Parenthood. That battle over Planned Parenthood funding inspired one of the most passionate and emotional moments when Congresswoman Jackie Speier took to the floor.
That procedure that you just talked about was a procedure that I endured. I lost a baby. But for you to stand on this floor and to suggest, as you have, that somehow this is a procedure that is either welcomed or done cavalierly or done without any thought is preposterous. There is a vendetta against Planned Parenthood, and it was played out in this room tonight.
Joining me now is Congresswoman Jackie Speier, a Democrat from California, who is a tireless crusader for women's health. Congresswoman, for your time tonight.
My pleasure, Reverend.
What do you make of this decision by Komen to defund Planned Parenthood?
Well, it's shocking, I think, for all of us who have been great supporters of the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. I've walked in the races, I've run in the races, I've emceed their events. And for them now to politicize breast cancer is absolutely jarring. And I think that women across this country are rising up, and they have seen a huge blowback today. And organizations like Planned Parenthood have received enormous support as a result. But the fact is that they are a nonprofit. If they want to be a political organization, then they should change their identification and become a 501c4. They have given to Planned Parenthood over the last 5 years enough money for 170,000 women to get breast exams. Of the 4 million breast exams that Planned Parenthood does over that course of that time, well, where are those women going to turn to now?
Yeah.
These are poor women. These are women without health insurance. These are college women. Planned Parenthood provides health care to women in this country.
Now, Congresswoman Susan G. Komen for Cure released a statement this afternoon saying they're dismayed, extremely disappointed, that actions have been taken to strengthen our granting process have been widely mischaracterized. Komen has implemented more stringent eligibility standards to safeguard donors' dollars. And on to say how they regret that these new policies have impacted some long-standing grantees such as Planned Parenthood, but want to be absolutely clear that our grant-making decisions are not about politics, but it's about if anyone is under federal review, and the only federal review is a congressman who is calling on Planned Parenthood to be reviewed for basic political.
And that request was made back in September when Mr. Stearns sent a list of interrogatories to Planned Parenthood to respond to within a short period of time. He's been sitting on that. If there was any legitimacy to an investigation, he should have held a hearing already. And where Susan G. Komen is going is really a very slippery slope. Because, for instance, NIH is called to the Congress often to explain certain things. There are investigations done. Well, Komen gives $1 million to the NIH. Are they going to cut back that funding? Are they going to cut back? Are they not going to accept funding from pharmaceutical companies when we call a pharmaceutical company to the House floor or to a committee hearing to talk about tainted medicine? So there's nowhere for them to go here. Planned Parenthood is audited like no other federal grantee in the entire country.
Now, let me ask you this, Congresswoman, and we invited, by the way, Komen to come on tonight, a representative, and they didn't respond. But let me ask this. On a broader picture, there's been this real war on women by the right wing. Is this but another example, another casualty of this war on women and war on women's right to choose and decide what to do with their lives and their bodies?
I hate using the term war on women because, you know, women are strong, we're capable, we're able to take care of ourselves, but we're not going to allow for the diminution of rights and benefits to women. And poor women and young women and women without health insurance who are unemployed should not become the target of this kind of action.
Now, people ought to know Planned Parenthood, what it actually does. 97% of its services include cancer screenings, birth control, STD treatments, sexual health education, except it's not just about the abortion question. And I think that to have their funding at risk on what appears to be a political announcement more than a real investigation, and certainly an investigation doesn't mean that something is being done wrongly, I think is really shameless when you look at the services that are being interfered with here.
Well, and it's important to point out that normally in this country, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. If there was an investigation by the U.S. attorney, by the local district attorney, maybe then you could say, well, maybe we should pause here. But none of that's going on. This is, the political sandbox of Congress, and you have one congressman who was pursued by anti-choice people to pursue this investigation. Now, if there is an investigation, let's bring that hearing forward, because he's had that information since last September.
Congresswoman, thank you for your time this evening.
My pleasure.
Ahead, saying goodbye to a legend.